I got a hold of G, one of the many collectors who have been affected by Jack Lewis, Stanton's ghosting the most. G was more than willing to tell me everything about his experience with Jack. He still wants all of his cards back and doesn't take kindly to backstabbing. Here is what he had to say.
I usually keep to myself since getting out of the public eye. But since Jack has ghosted on me alongside 80 other collectors, it's about time I tell why about him. From about 2015 until 2020, I used to have relatively good relations with Jack. He was a nice fellow when I started doing business with him. Nothing too special other than the usual things related to brokering in the signed Magic card space. He would have deals on offer. Interested parties would entrust him with our cards and money to make stuff happen upon what was agreed within the deals, then be on our way for when those arranged deals were fully fulfilled. When he couldn't fulfill a deal, he would return all your property and refund all the money to go with it. He was best known for getting a hold of a lot of tough-to-get artists in the space. I recall him getting a hold of Justin Murray, Una Fricker, and a bunch of other names that only the most hardcore collectors needed to complete their mythic levels of their collections. For why Rob Alexander was amongst those on offer is beyond me. But I suspect mostly for those collectors overseas. As long as Jack fulfilled my deals and everything was running like butter, there would be no drama nor complaints. I got paper trails to prove it. The last of the deals he had fulfilled on good terms with me was the Justin Sweet, John Foster and Matt Stewart deals towards the end of 2018 from IlluxCon. Originally, I paid no mind to the drama between he and Kevin Hart, as I thought it was just an isolated case. But then when the mass complaints from collectors in the space began to pile up, around 2019, followed with a mass decline of actual status updates, was when I finally took issue with it. Later on I learned he started blocking collectors claiming that they were interfering in his other businesses just for asking him about the status of their cards. The last time I talked with Jack over the FB was around January 2020, where he claimed he would have all of my cards from the Bradley Williams, Finkel, Kai and all deals recovered and returned to me in the next few months or so. The very 4 deals that Jack hasn't returned at all. The photos you see with those empty spaces are where those cards would have been in my portfolios, if Jack had fulfilled and returned them as he said he would do. But when I asked him again about where everything was on June 7, 2020 was when he just merely glanced at my message before completely ghosting after that. I have given Jack the benefit of the doubt long enough to where I have since filed with the Utah Attorney General's office and other law enforcement after he refused to respond back on where everything went. No action from any of them to whom I have filed with, even with all the others who were affected in the combined filing amounting to a few $1,000-something in cards, brokerage fees and shipping costs. Since there were still no responses from Jack, I went to go check with Gamers Helping Gamers on what the hell was going on, only to learn that Jack never forwarded the money through his PayPal to them. The invitational winners that agreed to sign to help raise money for scholarships were Finkel, Kai, Ol, Pecula and Darwin, at $5 per signature. Amongst the 5, Pecula and Darwin were the first 2 to fully fulfill and return all the cards signed back to their owners through Jack. I personally know, as I was one of those who participated in the Pecula deal. Mr. Finkel has since verified with me that he had signed all the cards from his deal and had sent them back to Jack at an unknown time. He has also apologized for the delay and all the trouble Jack has caused from his ghosting upon looking over the scope of it. With the confirmation I have gotten back from Mr. Finkel, it is now clear that Jack is holding my cards hostage, with the assumption he is doing the same to the Kai and all cards as well. JLStanton claims he has no money to clean up the mess. Yet here he is wheeling and dealing in records and whatever else with no care about who he's stealing from. If he has money for records and whatever else, he definitely has money to wrap it out. Now when I hear him talk about any of his ventures no longer making money for him, I now see that as a sign that he's about to ghost on another group of collectors. Until everything is returned, he ain't off the hook. I don't care about Jack's personal problems. I just want him to refund me my money on everything that wasn't fulfilled and return all my cards with valid tracking back to my holdings. All for which I have requested him to do multiple times through his listed email, jackstanton2@yahoo.com. He hasn't responded nor sent anything back at all, to which I assume that he has blocked all affected parties on the assumption that the statutes of limitations will save him. I don't take betrayal lightly. Jack is stealing, he knows it, and to which is why he is doing everything to bury this mess he can. No one within the Magic crowd were willing to help those affected recover our cards from Jack, proving that everyone is only out for themselves than what made the game great in the first place. Not even Evan Irwin. HQ. New Law, Pleasant Kenneby nor the Tolarian professor himself bothered to help in calling out Jack and taking legal action against him on what he had done. Just shows the lack of care the crowd has when it comes to grand theft or mass fraud. If you are thinking about doing business with Jack, forget him, and if you're still doing business with him, get the hell out while you still can. There is no telling when he's gonna block and ghost on you.